there were a couple of things I wanted to do today. First one I wanted to do was to look at a foursquare that a lot of people have, a lot of people face in the world. It's the bully foursquare, or the victim foursquare, whichever way you want to look at it, whichever is your favorite. Because the victim and the bully, are they both the same?
Yeah.
Yes. The victim is always a bully, and the bully is always a victim. Now, first I want to say, and ask, how is the victim a bully?
I can give an example.
Okay.
I'm debating whether or not I should mention the relationship. I'll choose not to. Know somebody who through incompetence would get his way, and his spouse had to do everything. The spouse had to manage the family finances, had to that almost hit the mark. and through incompetence and laziness, got to do whatever he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But he looked like, in fact, his nickname was Wimpy.
Mm. Oh, God. So he was pathetic.
He was pathetic.
He was pathetic and obviously wimpy.
And in that way, a bully.
A bully, and he manipulated everything. Correct?
Yeah.
He manipulated everything.
Probably without an ounce of consciousness about it.
Right. Absolutely. And it's not his fault. Wasn't his
No.
fault.
No.
No, not at all. He was,
I just feel like in an abstract sense, if you're attached to being a victim, you're going to require people to be around you to behave in certain ways that validate that for you. So there's a compulsion in what you do to make that happen.
Right.
So you will provoke persecution and invite persecution so that
exactly.
you can
Right.
live-
In
live up to
order
your
for me to
ideas.
maintain my sense of self, which is victim, but I don't call myself, I might call myself victim because I might think it's a nice thing. I might believe there are only two choices in the world, victim or bully, and I'm going to pick victim, let's say. And so I will absolutely make sure that I am the victor here. And I will make sure you, some of you, somebody in here, provokes so that I can feel like a victim. Now, could a person provoke and I not be a victim? Absolutely. I could, somebody can provoke and love. They're committed to being a bully. They're committed to provoking. But sorry, I'm not going to play with you. I'm not going to play the game with you. That's when they're just doing their thing. There's no longer they're no longer a part of the game. The relationship isn't as good as it used to be. But go ahead.
I
Yes.
just want to, because this brings up a lot of stuff from what I do at work. And there was a piece on the radio recently, or on NPR, about 1 in 4 women in the military are victims of abuse. It's probably higher than that. I think it's interesting to think about that because, yes, a lot of these people were abused or victimized prior to going in, and it happens over and over and over again. There's also an incredible milieu for that there. And then, but to be able to not respond to provocation, it takes a huge amount of sort of higher ego function.
Absolutely.
So for a lot of people to hear, not people in here, but for a lot of people in the world to hear, the victim is also the abuser or the bullier is.
Oh, they
What?
can't hear. Right. No, we're just speaking to people who have gone to. No, most cases in the what unfortunately in the Shiva Sutras, what are they called? Ordinary folk, normal, normal human interaction and stuff, there are victims and there are bullies. And if you're going to be hanging out in that environment, absolutely there's a victim and there's a bully. But if we're going to actually dissect it and look at it, and in reality, even in that situation, if that person, one of those women in the military, wanted to, in fact, I don't want to do this anymore, I've got, everywhere I go, I'm a victim, then I need to, I'm the constant here, so I want to remove myself from this. What is it that I am doing? How am I a participant here? And then something can be done. On a normal basis, the response will be, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's really hard for you. Because you can't. They don't want, they're not up to it. They wouldn't even be able to see it, a lot of people.
They get angry.
They get, how can you call me anything other than a victim? And it's not my fault. So we go back to the issue of what's the, if we see victim as negative, let's say, what's the positive of victim?
Righteous.
Innocent. They're innocent and they're nice. They're good. Did they, and so on a normal, and we actually as a culture support that. So that then, what's the bully? The bully's bad. So what's the positive of a bully?
Strong, forceful.
Yeah, that's right.
Strong, forceful. They can be a leader.
Yeah.
They can be a leader. They challenge, they do, right? So I'm challenging you. No, you're not, you're bullying me. So it's no different a Foursquare than anywhere else. But the issue is, these are words now in this culture that are so intense. And one of the things that, if we really look at it, and it's in Congress, it's everywhere. Everybody is working to usurp the role of the victim. Everybody, no, I was the victim. No, I'm the victim. No, I'm the victim. How many people say, no, I was the bully. I'm the bully here. I'm the bully here. Whereas the positive of the bully is they're actually in charge. They're the leader. They're the ones that are provoking. They're the ones that are challenging. But no, I don't want to be that. I'm not responsible. So we're encouraging a tremendous amount of I'm not responsible. It's not my fault. I didn't do it. I'm hurt. I'm hurt in the situation. Can't you see I'm a victim? And if we look at it in that sense, and that's again, speaking to your situation, you can't address this unless a person is really ready to see it. That they're going to think of me or somebody, I'm a bully, I'm not caring, you're not caring, you're not nice, you don't see that it wasn't my fault. Well then okay. Because what happens to a lot of these people is, as you're saying, they were probably had it prior to going into that situation, like the military, or anywhere else. We're just doing the same thing. So, oh my goodness. So are you willing to stop it? Well, it's not my fault. I'm hapless. I have no say. I have no responsibility. I have no control. And granted, we have no control, but what do we have control over? What do we talk about? We have control over us. Us. So I'm in this situation. I can hopefully do something that I'm not going to then, oh, I know you're kind. I've been here before. I'm not going to walk down the hallway with you. I'm not going to go and, no, you can't come to my dorm room. No, no, no. I got it. I actually have some say where I can do preventive, but we're not doing that. If I don't think I have any control. So somebody the other day in class, and to their credit, I'm going to say it's Sarah, she realized that things happen out there in the world. Things happen out there. Always happening. things happen. I'm not gonna say the word that everybody says, but crap happens. All right, so we can relate with it first as tamasic, right? If we're tamasic, it's dark, we're inert. Do we have any control? Do we have any say? We don't have anything. It's all, oh my God, I have no anything, I can't do anything. I'm at the mercy, there's nothing. I'm stuck. I'm really stuck here. And I have no anything. Hopefully, we wake up to that and we move then to what? Raja, to rajasic, to activity. Once we've done activity, what are we doing now? And this is what what you're addressing. We're going to now fix it. We're going to try to fix it. I'm in control. I'm going to proactive. I'm going to fix this thing. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to do something. I'm taking charge. I'm going to take charge. So I've moved from being the hapless victim to the activist, correct? And if I'm doing it from close to still inertia, my activism is going to be all about my anger and my righteous indignation. It's going to be really not the nicest. As I move in my activism, if I am growing, this is only if you can grow and see, and this is each individual, because each individual has to make the change. It's not going to, if everybody in here and everybody that listens to this talk made the change, you get more and more people making the change, and then something actually happens. But if I want you to make the change and I haven't made the change, then nothing's going to happen, because I'm still at the mercy. So as I grow, my activism changes and I get closer to now what? Sattva. Calm, bright, clear, clean, quiet in a way, right? So then my activity is going to be more in regard to, it's going to have more of an illuminated activity of I'm going to choose to do things not out of anger, but as a way to get clean for me and then for everybody else if around me. And then finally, I'll get to sattva. I'll get to that calm place. And that's where that higher ego is, where, unless you have the ability to do that, it's not going to, you can't do it. And that's okay. You understand. And so we each have to understand where we are. So at this point here, this person who has reached the place of that calmness, where are they in regard to the activity? They understand. They're clear. They know that things happen. Things are always going to happen. I don't have to be a participant. I can be off the grid. I can relate with it differently. I don't have to be reactive. I don't have to do the particular activity that the person would want me to do. So if I provoke you, what am I wanting you, how am I wanting you to respond?
Well, you want me to respond in the way that you have in mind. It depends if you're the victim or if you're the bully.
Right. No, pretty much still. If I'm the victim, you're going to what?
Push you around.
Push me around. If I'm the bully, what are you going to do?
Get pushed around.
Get pushed around. So you're either, and so you're going to respond appropriately.
Yes.
Okay. If you know that that's what I do, then what happens? I provoke you.
You can choose not to participate.
You can choose not to participate, but you can't do, even if they do terrible things, you could choose not to participate.
So what do you tell a kid, like in a school, and you're not talking about it, you're talking about young kids, and some kids can be very intimidating to other kids, and they can be outnumbered also. So how does, and that kid has this issue of victim, and they don't have those skills yet. So what do they
Okay,
do?
how old are you talking?
10, 12.
Well, we had this, 4th grade, and I had the happiest, nicest victim. Liked to be a victim, a happy victim, a nice victim. Got pushed around, got mushed, smushed, and nice victim. So I made that person, that child, own their own provoking. They were smart enough to face that. They got to see that they were in fact provoking and that they owned it. And when I mean own it is not just, but they owned it in their, oh, yeah, I do that. I can see that. I can see I made them, they were angry, I wasn't going along with, I can see that I didn't fit in, I could see all of that. So, and they got it. So that they were a victim, then they got to see they were a bully. And once they were a bully, and then they were nice and a leader, the whole thing, they did not, then there was what we joked with them, they poofed the bully. The bully wasn't anything anymore. They poofed it, gone, because they couldn't. And that's what can happen. That's what can actually happen. But they have to see that they're a participant. And until a person sees that they're a participant, that they are in fact playing. Now, can you ever address that they're participants?
Not in the context of what happens in active duty situations. It's almost impossible.
Possible, yeah. Yeah.
Other things that happen afterwards, which they do keep happening, maybe.
Maybe, right. So that then they could, in retrospect, if they were seeing this as a repeat situation, in retrospect, they could go back and go, oh gosh, maybe.
It's really
maybe hard.
unlikely.
Yeah, unless a person is ready to do that, they're not going to do it, no matter how bright, no matter how clean, no matter how, until that moment, it's not going to happen.
I think what happens sometimes in that excuse me, population is they end up bullying the rest of their world, and I don't mean in a classic way, but help rejecting, complaining and help rejecting and negative, and that's a form of impossible to live with. It's a form of bullying also.
Exactly.
It has an incredible ripple effect everywhere they go, so they can't live a good life.
Right, that's exactly it, because they're bouncing that, and they don't even see that they're at
So
that
it reverberates.
Yes,
Many steps past.
absolutely, and that's what I'm talking about. And then all of a sudden we see, oh my God, it's informing everything. So the solution is for a person to be able to be, for us at least, to be able to see, and for anyone being and working with somebody like that, for us not to be the victim in the situation with them. Because the person who either as a student or a patient or a client or even a customer, oh my God, when they're completely negative and nothing is going to satisfy, you can't do anything, you can't do it. My response to them, you're bye-bye. I do bye-bye. You're really at the wrong place. I can't help you. It's, you're absolutely right. I usually say that. You're absolutely right. You're in the wrong place. This is not the place. I remember many, many years ago, there was somebody who came who was a big person. And this was a long, long time ago, like over 15 years ago. And the person had been to every therapeutic situation known to human. And nobody had ever been able to help her. Nobody had ever been able to help her. So she came to once, and fine. Came the second time, and halfway through, it was so clear. And I looked at this person, she'd already paid me, I gave her back the check, and I said, put another notch on your belt. Bye-bye. I actually said, put another notch on your belt, you win. Bye-bye. Never saw the person again. And it was like, I can't, why would I want to victimize myself? Why would I want to in a lot of ways, bully myself? Because the victim and the bully, they end up being the same. Does it make sense?
It makes sense, but it's often still not clear. I have people that work for me that decide that people are racist, and they will, in talking amongst themselves sometime, and I'm around, sort of start to spew that they're not going to take that, and they'll wait on them, but they're vibing, they're vibing, and it makes me incredibly uncomfortable, and I feel victimized at that point, but they feel victimized, but I think they're bullying, and then, but it's a structure of a store, I usually will just walk away. I don't want to participate. I can't control it. I usually just walk away, but I'm often then concerned about it and wondering, is there something, I go back to Rajasic, is there something that I should be doing about it that would be appropriate? And a lot of times I'll just sort of stay in that just uncomfortable place, because because this is what happens in the world, I guess, and I don't want to frustrate myself, and I can't change somebody else's opinion.
Right, but sometimes it's okay to say, I just like to get educated. How are they racist? How do you know? What did they actively say and do? Just trying to figure this out. So you actually are shedding a little bit of light on the thing instead of walking away, because in some ways you're assuming that they actually know what they're talking about.
No, I think they don't, but I don't want to challenge. That would,
Then you would be bullying.
Then I would be bullying. Yes. Do you see? So I understand what you're saying.
So then you're maintaining that you're maintaining
I'm
the whole. You're
maintaining
the whole thing.
Foursquare.
You're maintaining the whole foursquare. So
Okay.
you want to be nice, and so you walk away.
Yes.
So you unwittingly bully yourself, or allow them to be the bullies.
I wound myself.
You wound yourself, and they're in charge. They're the
Yes.
leaders because
Yes.
they've just bullied you.
Yes.
Instead, okay, if you can get okay with all four of them
Yes.
and get off of that grid, then you go, wow. So it's not even an issue, because what it is if they were saying something other than, okay, that person isn't nice to me, would that do the same thing to you? Or is it, sometimes it's the word, the buzzword of like racism. They're racist. And then you get, oh, I can't say anything, or they're all this sort of, no, just, I don't understand. What do you mean by racist? How are they racist? Please explain to me.
Good suggestion. It usually will start with, I don't like this person.
Right. And then they have
And
to
then
be.
it goes,
Because.
into, like a whole thing.
Right. What's the faulty logic called?
Which
Where you attack the person
ad hominem.
ad hominem. Yeah. So just Nixon.
But really, it's their way of attacking me. I think it feels like.
Excuse me.
Bullying me, being the leader.
I don't think it's personal at all.
It's not
Sounds like a
personal.
victim contest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
You do, yeah.
It's
Totally.
helpful. It's helpful.
Excuse me.
It's
Another one.
helpful. So I need to get more neutral
Yeah, yeah.
Because
That's why you own the whole thing.
because in the back of my mind is like, what you're doing is inappropriate in my store, in this business, and you know.
Hmm. Yeah, they actually went out of their way to do a game plan in the morning on how to get you.
Okay.
You got
I got it.
it. You got it. Okay, so everybody, are you a victim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Is it okay with you?
Yeah.
Yes, it's the nicest thing to be. Are you innocent and nice?
Yeah.
There's a lot of no's. Gotta be okay with being innocent and nice. I know it can be obnoxious looking, but innocent and nice. Are you innocent and nice?
No.
A little more yeses.
Yes.
Yes. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Yes. Are you responsible leaders, in charge, challengers? Oh. Is that okay with you?
Yeah. No.
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 Are you bullies? No. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Yes. And therefore, what do I have to do? If
Find a
that's-
bully.
I have to find a bully to make sure everything is right in the world. We have to keep the balance. That's what we're doing. We keep the balance. Our job is to own all four. No big deal. Sometimes it's okay to, somebody says to you, you're a bully, and you know in your heart of hearts you've just done what was appropriate. Okay? I understand you see me as a bully. It's okay. I'm okay with that. That's what you're going. Totally. And it's okay. But if I can't be a bully, then, and I need to be responsible and take some leadership, am I going to then be appropriate? No. Because I'm so determined to be nice and innocent, I end up being the victim or thinking myself the victim, and somebody will call me a bully anyways. Haven't you noticed that?
Yeah.
Everybody's out running around calling everybody else a bully. So give it up, get okay with it, and just move on. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Other thing I wanted to talk about was rest. How many people read the blog about rest? How many people do appropriate rest?
More so.
More so. More so. What happens is we actually do not, most of us, take care of ourselves. We don't take care of ourselves, which would then be falling asleep at the wheel. Is that what happened? Yeah. What is appropriate rest?
For me, sometimes it's hard to see because when I read it, I was thinking, well, that's the problem in learning these things is you don't know how to recognize these things. So am I slumming or am I appropriately
Right.
resting?
That's
I
exactly
don't
Right,
know.
right.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. How many people slum? Slumming is easy.
Yeah.
It's like and it's so do you stop doing sadhana when you slum?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like you go off the off the road. I go to a rest stop.
Right.
Off the road. Yeah,
Right.
no.
Right. So how do you recognize the difference? That's obviously the trick.
Are you in your heart when you slum?
No.
Are you wanting to just nurture yourself? Or do you just want
Yeah,
to
why?
take or are you wanting to just pleasurize yourself?
Yeah.
Donuts.
Donuts. Chocolate. I mean, that is what you start looking at is, am I pleasurizing or am I nurturing? And who and what am I nurturing? Am I nurturing just my body? Am I doing my five senses? If I am nurturing my five senses, then am I resting?
Not really.
No. Am I taking care of myself?
No.
No. And so that then I'm either doing driven, I'm working, I'm doing, I'm trying, I'm getting into my heart, I'm doing the practice, or I'm completely off the cliff. And so those are the two choices. No, you can, driven is not really doing appropriate sadhana. And so it's very much, in the ashram we used to do the yogi and the bogey. The yogi was the one who was driven, did all the right things, was, you know, you got the top knot up in the hair, you got the perfect sari, you got everything perfect, you're sitting upright, you in full lotus, you don't move, and walk like this, you don't say anything, you can be absolutely lunatic in your head, but you don't say anything. I mean, oh my God, oh my God, such a great yogi. No. If you really listened, you'd say, oh my God, not the yogi. But they just completely doing the drill, doing the scaffolding, 100%. Got it down. Then you had the bogey. It's all about grace, just grace. Grace. I don't need to be at the chant. I know that God is everywhere. So I could sit in the chai shop and have a nice idli or masala dosa and a nice cup of chai, and that's it. And I'm getting God just like the ones that are in at the chant. And those were the two extremes. And neither of them was actually really practicing. What were they attached to?
Bogey and yogi.
They were attached to bogey and yogi, and they were attached to the scaffolding. One was rejecting the scaffolding, and one was attached to the scaffolding. They were both in a attraction-repulsion relationship. Completely. So they were caught in what? Ignorance. They're caught in the fire, in the glaciers, the misery. And they're going to cling for dear life. And they miss the point. So if you're driven, and I really want to get this, who is it that's going for that? That's, again, the small self. And is it really joking and playing with us? Because if it keeps on saying, I really want to get this, I'm working to let go. I am working to let go now. There I go. Now. That's going to prevent everything. And who's in charge? Small self, the bully. That's the bully. And so we're going to be clinging to that small self, our little system, to keep everything going. And then what happens? We then can't do it anymore. So then we flip to, oh, I need a break. I need a rest. And then we go to the other of the indulgence. And you have to see neither of them is actually doing the practice. So, and it promotes a conscience that is going to be saying, you're not working hard enough.
Right.
And the other one, you're not doing it. You've just lost it all. And if you can see that internally, that that's what the mind is going to be telling you, then you're not on the right track. Whereas if you can let go, and you're just in here, and you're doing what's appropriate. I'm not going to be driven. I'm not going to be indulgent. I'm just, what's appropriate right now? What's appropriate right now? What's appropriate right now? And I'm not saying it's easy. I want to make that really, really clear. It's not easy. I'm asking something, I'm telling you something that it's not easy. This is not an easy thing to give up the running around like a lunatic and the being a sloth. Those two are our favorite places.
In my personal experience, specifically after I read the blog on resting, when I was appropriately resting, what my small self did, it was very much what you just said, to try and get the control back was, oh, you are totally slumming right now, you're not working at all, and it's like it became like a game. So, and I got caught up in it sometimes.
Max?
Well, yeah, I have something to say. I read that blog, and I mostly I take these things as coming at the right time, these folks, and just like if they're directed also to me as much as anybody else. So I took that advice literally, and I went on with other things, but I got off the same grinding and away at the same issues. And I just created a space and just waited, and I feel a lot more refreshed, and I think that I've got a better approach to those problems that I had before. So the line in that blog that I took most notice of was that by just getting off that treadmill just for a short period, create a space for something else to come in.
And thank you. It's a tactic, and who doesn't want you to do that? Again, the small self, because it's about maintaining. It's maintaining. And what happens when we then are caught in that? What happens then when we approach meditation? We're been so driven that when we meditate, then when we go to meditation, we fall asleep. So, win. It's just a total win. Whereas if we're rested and we're maintaining a constant in terms of, oh, okay, here. Oh, I need a few minutes here. Oh, it's okay. Oh, it doesn't have to be as dramatic as I hoped it would be. Because that's what it is. It's the drama. It's the drama. Loving the drama. And and so what happens for a lot of people is we make sadhana a big drama. Big drama. Sadhana's a big drama. Whoa. And it isn't. Doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be. And so then we just, oh, okay. We go in, quiet, still, let go. I'm not going to fight you. I want to fight. Okay, you can fight. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll listen to everything you have to say. Fine. Good. I'm not this, I'm not that. Fine. Good. I'm going in. I'm going in. Let go. Let go. Let go. I love the whole thing of resting in the heart. The word resting in the heart. And we just get off the whole game. And back to this thing, we then end up with sattva, and we're relating to, as Max was saying, we're relating to then what's out there in a very different way. But if we're driven, driven is going to be rajasic activity, and will probably be closer to tamasic inertia in our driven, if we're driven. And so we are then clouded, we're veiled, we're cloaked, and we can't see it. If we go, oh my goodness, wait a minute, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to get off of the grid. I'm going to get off of this. Then this starts moving to here, and then we get to sattvic, and it just goes, okay. Is it going to change out there? No. No. This is going to, no. Not necessarily. That's the, you might never get the parking space. You might never get the parking space. You might never get the house, the money, the this, the that, all that sort of stuff. It might not happen. It might not be in the cards for you at all. It might not be your karma. It might not be your destiny. You might not have those chips. But it's back to Eckhart's never had a bad day. You're then okay with it. This is what I have. This is okay. Because Prakriti, nature, this game, this is school. I got it. I got it. So then, is manipulating this my goal?
No.
Oh, right. My goal is to go home. So if I practice appropriate rest, it's like, oh. And it gives me some time to go, well, no, I don't need to be doing, oh, whoa, look at, I was so involved in that and it was so important and it's so, is it really that important? No, it's okay. It's okay. I can back up. So let's take a few minutes and appropriately rest.
I've never thought of. There's a line in the Bible which says they also serve they who stand and wait.
Mm-hmm.
Is that relevant to this at all? I never thought of it in that way. I always thought that it meant something else, that line.
I can't speak to it. Can you?
No, I can't.
Yeah, it's from Milton's sonnet on his blindness. And it's just about his incapacity to act in the world because of his physical limitations.
Did you hear?
So,
You can't. He can't hear. Speak a little
yeah,
louder.
it's from Milton, from a sonnet on his blindness, and it's really about how he can't act in the world the way he would prefer to because of his physical limitations, and so that sometimes, yes, standing and waiting is what you do, but that's not the same as resting. It's because that's the option
available.
available.
On a tangent there to something about that, not his answer. My comment was on a tangent.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so thanks for the answer.
It's okay. Okay. Thank you.